Every Sharks win this season is to be celebrated. After all, they're 6-9-3 through 18 games. But especially a win in regulation, especially a win where you score 4 times in the third period, especially a win over Las Vegas, who had recently won 9 in a row. Now they've dropped 2 in a row. And especially when you're the Sharks, you allow 2 or fewer, and you get your third one of the season for the very first time. I guess what I'm saying here is that tonight's victory checks all the boxes. That's probably the sweetest part about it. You get versatile goal scoring from Cunnin, his third on the year. Matt Nieto's second. Timo Meier scored on the power play. So you get even strength, you get the power play, you get the empty netters at the very end to just really seal the deal. And how about watching those Las Vegas hockey fans going up the steps with a couple minutes left in the game, right? That's like the ultimate we did it feeling. Satisfying for the Sharks to have this road trip where they played well start to finish. I mean, even the St. Louis game was not bad, but the win in Dallas, the comeback win in Minnesota, and tonight another comeback win for the Sharks against a very good Las Vegas hockey team. This was a road trip where St. Louis, Dallas, Minnesota, Las Vegas, this could have burned you. And quite honestly, the Sharks almost swept it. Oh, Brutus, how about this? First win in regulation against Las Vegas since Game 5 of the Stanley Cup playoffs in 2019. Yeah, because last year, right, Bordelot won it in the shootout. Ooh. I mean, that's a sobering fact, Brutus, but I appreciate you bringing it up. It sets the scene on what tonight really was. 2 or fewer, absolutely. You got it, Caker Girl. That's the name of the game, and it always has been. And the problem is, like I said before, when the Sharks were scoring 2 or fewer, that ain't going to work. Instead, they're allowing 2 or fewer. I don't know why I gave you the beer sound effect, but all right, enough of the soundboard, Brazil. Let me get back on my right pages here. How about Caker Girl? Yeah, it's great to see how they fixed the whole second period problem. Remember when they were getting outscored in the first 5 or 6 games? Was it 19-3 in second periods? And tonight it was just an evenly played 1-1 second period. Great. Glad to get over that, real or mythical jinx or whatever it was. I'm glad that is not a thing anymore. I don't know why it ever was a thing. There's no good reason it should have been, but it was. And how you get rid of it or how you get through it, I don't know. But they've done it. Let's discuss this, Big Bird. Erik Karlsson, arguably the best skater on the Sharks. I mean, you could, right? Who else is in that conversation? There's a few, but you could put Karlsson in as one of the best skaters. So how on earth does it happen where 2 games in a row, he takes near identical tumbles, and in the Wild game, it cost the Sharks a goal. It didn't cost him the game, it cost him a goal. And tonight, almost the same play. And I doubt it's technique. I doubt it's equipment. It's 2 different hockey rinks he's playing in, so it's not the same rut on the ice, but near the identical spot, just inside the blue line. It's hard to figure out how that happened. And we could have fun with it now. I'm not going to laugh at it, but I think it's just so bizarre. And I'm sure he's having a laugh at it because of the result. If it was that plus a loss, nobody's finding it funny, but let's just hope that those 2 are out of his system and you don't see it again for his sake and for the team's sake. Statement win. Looks like these guys are finally buying into Quinn's system. And I don't know if it's the buy-in that's happening now or just the comfort factor. And Randy and Drew alluded to this in our pregame show, and if there's 2 gentlemen that would know the Sharks and reading a team and understanding the mood of the players on the bus, at the hotel, on the team plane, it's Randy and Drew, right? I mean, they're around and they're no dummies, right? They're paying attention. And they kind of both said, in the pregame show that this is a Sharks team right now that just looks to be feeling better, having fun, enjoying what they're doing. And even when on nights they don't get the result, they're they're put together a little bit better. And I think it's just a comfort factor. And again, it's not that they weren't bought into it before. It's just maybe now that things are finally clicking. So, Reese, I think timing and everything is part of it. And Brutus points out here, only took 2 weeks. Well, I mean, we're what, about more than a month into the season at this point. But, I would say the first 2 weeks, actually we're like 5 weeks in, but then they took a week off. So let's just say it like this. If we're 4 weeks in, the first 2 weeks were not great. The last 2 weeks, as I just showed you on the game log there, that's when they've turned it around. People will focus on these last 3 wins as the turnaround, but the turnaround, honestly, trust me, has happened way before that. Brutus says, I believe our biggest problems are warming up in the game and playing to our opponent's level. Like the 49ers. Oh, we're crossing platforms here. So we got to stay on top of the entire game. I would agree, Brutus. There are some nights, and I think even going back to those 2 Anaheim shootout losses, how can the Sharks play so well against a Dallas like they did just recently, and a Minnesota like they did, and tonight against a Las Vegas? Because Las Vegas goes and trounces Anaheim. Dallas goes and handles Anaheim. Minnesota goes and shellacks Anaheim. Why can't the Sharks go do the same thing? And I'm not saying that that's intentional. I'm just saying that, I would agree, Brutus, and it is an interesting point that, and it's not, how do you fix that? How do you get around it? I don't know. It just seems like coming off these 3 wins and in their next game, who are the Sharks going to be? And does it depend on who they're playing, right? Good teams get away from who they're playing against and playing up or down to a certain level. This team is fun to watch. Well, you know what, Chris? I agree, but I also want to give it some more time. And you all know me as the optimist. I generally have a positive flavor and a positive viewpoint. And just I'm not, that's not manufactured. That's just a lot of times what I'm translating versus there's a lot of pessimism out there. But even I'm telling you to give this thing another week or two to just make sure that they can latch onto something. Develop a calling card, an identity to have your top players still be your top players. It's Corona 29. Just popped in. I strongly believe the Sharks could be 1 or 2 players away from being a legit team. They're very competitive as they are right now. Agreed. Right now, as in maybe the last week or two, and especially these last 3 games. Not to be too repetitive here, but I need to see it sustained for a bit before you really buy into that. Make no doubt about it. This is a franchise in transition. There might be moves and trades and maneuvers throughout the course of this season that benefit years down the road. I know people are excited. Winning 3 in a row and playing convincing hockey, that's what this comment is a product of that. I totally understand. I'm not discouraging people from enjoying this at all. I want you to as well. But just understand that, right now is still the steps forward and maybe not the top of the mountain yet, right? Vegas, I still don't understand why you find penalty killing that hard. Oh, Cody, sick burn. Wait a second. Oh, well, I'm going to give you, Cody, I'm going to give you an applause. At least it wasn't a 5-minute major tonight, right? You only had to kill 2 minutes. Felt good to be finally on the winning side of a come-from-behind game. Victories like this can help build momentum to get in a positive direction. I totally agree, right? And it's not just winning games. It's like in Dallas, hanging on to a lead. The Stars fought back in that game. In Minnesota, you were down 2-0. Played a really good third period, got 2 goals. It's 2-2. Overtime, both teams traded glorious chances. Nothing happened. Then you win in the shootout. And then tonight, to allow the first, to get the second, to allow the third, and then all of a sudden a barrage of goals in the third period. I thought was awesome.